We spoke to this woman today on Lowell's podcast.
That was
Weissman's,
Mia's mom.
Weissman's emo. And she says that there's a bunch of people in Ramat Bet Shemesh, older people and different, not just older, like younger, plotzing, and no one is acknowledging why, explaining why. People just keep saying, yeah, but the person didn't wake up. Stam. Okay.
These things happen.
Yeah, these things happen. No, they don't. And so we were asking, like, do you think that these people will wake up? Is it gonna be like a aha moment, whatever it is? And she didn't give much hope. She was just like, no, I think they're just too deep in. But I'm just wondering, man, like it has to come a point where, like, people, every story you've read about any cult, Jim Jones, this, that, people eventually wake up. Something happens, right? And everybody wakes up, always, without fail.
Yeah, they drink the Kool-Aid and die. That's what happens.
No, but like there are people who don't die, or like, let's say, our main, whatever, like people who don't die, wake up and they try to escape and they start escaping. Not just try, they succeed in escaping, and then they go report to the authorities. A downfall happens. I'm really wondering, like, what is it going to be in this case? What is it going to take? What is it going to look like? Let's say, let's stop short of, like you always say, supernatural intervention. I'm really, because you could say that for any cult. Only supernatural intervention is going to stop this and that, and this cult and that cult, and these people are brainwashed. There's no way, But what would that look like? I'm just curious, because she didn't really give. She's just like, you can't talk to these people. And
well, Greg, that's the point. That's why you need the supernatural intervention, because she's saying there doesn't seem to be any indication that people are going to wake up, because the main path to waking up is to acknowledge something within ourselves, that we made the wrong decision, that we were stupid, that we're embarrassing idiots.
So listen, here's my question. Forget about the stupid part. I mentioned
by we, I mean them.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I mentioned on the podcast that I can't be the only person on planet Earth that who is the type of person who if I realize I put garbage in my body, that I would immediately, like the day of, start scouring for detox. I can't be the only person on this planet who's like this. But for some reason, I've maybe come across, I don't know,
Greg,
a handful of people like this. A handful.
Greg, here's what I've seen. I'm sure you've also seen similar. But for most people, if they're healthy and they're thin and they're attractive, right? It was just given to them. They live their life. They have fun. When things start to deteriorate and the quality of life starts to, in their view, lessen in some way, their will to live immediately starts to dwindle.
Okay.
That's what it's like for most people.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the opposite of what you're describing as yourself.
Okay.
So the people who are like you are in the vast minority.
I don't understand.
What I'm saying is that people, they live and they try to achieve a certain level of comfort, and convenience. Okay. Once they've experienced a certain level of comfort and convenience, they are so addicted to it that any diminishment of that immediately,
it's almost like a downfall.
It's a downfall, and it creates a gradual, like, kind of suicidal feeling within themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. That the moment life starts to get less fun, less convenient, less luxurious, right? They have to struggle to find meaning and a reason to live. Okay. That's what it's like for most people. Okay. So they're not, like, the moment things start getting a little bit challenging, they just don't want to live anymore. Now, I'm not saying that about people in general throughout all generations. I'm saying that this is a phenomenon that seems to be within our generation.
Mhm.
where people can't see past material convenience.
Yeah.
They just can't, and they're so threatened
Mhm.
by the idea of losing it that they'll do anything to maintain it.
So can I throw a little wrench in what you're saying a little bit?
Please, I hope.
What about the people who are like, these people that you meet, in Israel, like Judea and Samaria, all these kind of people? A lot of these people don't live necessarily in material convenience. They don't. They really don't. And yet they ran to take this stuff. And you come to them and you say, well, listen, man, you were a part of an experiment. You did something stupid. You don't say that. You don't even say you did something stupid. You may have made a mistake. You took what you took, and and even for them, it's like difficult to. I don't know. It just seemed like, again, like I know one or two people like this who admitted that there's a problem. I don't know if they're going to seek out what do they call it, detox necessarily, but everybody else is just kind of like
With this kind of thing,
denial.
it's much more difficult to admit wrong than almost anything else. Like if you were, talking about investments,
Yeah.
right? To invest in, whether or not to buy or not to buy,
Mhm.
and the person came at you really strong with a really strong viewpoint, right? And they're like, you'd be an idiot not to, like those kind of people, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't like, and then it doesn't work out.
Mhm.
So a person like that, generally, they would find it difficult to come and say, I was wrong, but at least it's possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the Madoff thing, people who bought, took his advice or bought whatever he was selling, there was just a downfall. They lost all their money, so they had no choice.
I'm not talking about something that dramatic. I'm just talking about a general situation in which a person might have to, say, I made an ass out of myself,
Yeah.
and I was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it comes to this thing, to the schmack scene,
Yeah.
it's a completely different realm here, because when the person realizes that they're wrong, that makes them, that means that they have to come to grips with the idea that they might have killed themselves.
Yeah.
That they might be dead soon.
Yeah.
And
Or
that their family members who listen to them might also suffer as a consequence
Yeah.
of that. So there's many extra layers of defense against that.
no one wants to hear that. No one wants.
No one wants to hear that. No one wants to entertain that. No one wants to give any, like don't remember in Major League,
Yeah.
the movie, Randy Travis's character.
What is he? Don't what?
I'm sorry, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid's character. He was like that heckler in the state, and he was all negative because the.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Wild thing. Wow.
They were sucking for many, many seasons, and he's just a bitter fan.
He's
And
so
all-
thinking. He got so.
He got so bitter, right?
Yeah.
And he would sit with sometimes near the other fans who are still, they're not as bitter and they're still hoping. And
Yeah.
then somebody made a decent play on the Cleveland Indians for 1 second, and then they get all excited, and he's like, they're just gonna mess it up in the ninth. And then they all take their hats off and start like slapping the shit out of him, right?
Yeah.
He has to go away.
Yeah.
Because why did they do that? Because they don't want him to jinx.
Yeah. Words matter. Words are powerful.
Words are powerful. They didn't want any reality to come. They didn't want him to give any power to manifest that possible reality, right?
Yeah.
So when people are talking about something like this, they don't even want to talk about it because the stakes are so high. They really fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the definition of effing up.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is like, I'm not even, now that I think about it, you have these conversations with people. I think that I wouldn't even expect someone to admit it, that they did something wrong here because of the repercussions. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
You just got to feel bad for them at that point and just kind of give them a break.
Well, at this point,
they know.
no. At this point, I've resigned to like just not like there's a few friends where I was kind of bombarding them in the beginning, and then they just got tired of it, whatever it is. They started worrying about me, that I was going crazy,
Yeah.
At some point, I just stopped talking to them about it. Every once in a while, I mention it, as in a context of a joke, something, but I don't really go into like numbers and facts and figures and this and this. I don't go into it. There's no point. There's really no point. One of those guys accepts, and he actually says that he took two, and he actually admits, like, man, I may have made a mistake. Like, he even says, like, yeah, they were offering, it was something in like in Brooklyn, like Crown Heights, like, one of those like not Crown Heights, like Prospect Heights, one of these like the vans, like they're like offering $100 gift card or something that they send to your house, like the city was offering it. It was in the city of New York. I'm like, dude, as if that wasn't your first indication. I had a friend who in Jerusalem, he was about to do it, and then Jerusalem municipality offered people free pizza and French fries, and that's when he knew, like, dude, seriously, like, honestly, it's just absurd. But
Remember the show Sliders? This is a little bit.
what?
There's a show
Uh-huh.
in the early '90s called Sliders,
Okay. Yes.
and it was Rebecca, Jerry O'Connell, right? The
Yeah.
kid from Stand By Me, Rebecca's husband,
Yes.
Conan O'Brien's arch enemy,
Yeah.
even though he's married.
Yes.
There's one episode, I think this is the only one that I remember, where they slide to these alternate realities, these like parallel Earths and universes.
Yeah.
That have, like, sometimes they have only very slight differences, and sometimes it's vastly different.
Mhm.
So, and they end up in this one parallel reality where the society built itself around population control. But here's how they do it. There's like I think a random lottery, which is probably not random,
Yeah.
and it picks someone who has to, like, I don't remember what the frequency was, but let's say once a month, somebody from every like region has to essentially not volunteer, but they're chosen to die.
Yeah.
Right. But before they do, they have like this amazing week where they are treated to every type of possible experience that is available. They can dine at the best restaurants, they can go see whatever it is that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So they're treated really, really nicely for a couple of days, and then they have to go and then get some kind of lethal injection, which is completely painless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, in fact, they made it feel good. Actually, they made it feel like it was like this wonderful, intense, relaxing, and then you just kind of like fall asleep in this lovely little kind of like pleasant fatigue, and then lose consciousness. They did it. They designed it perfectly. They made it really appealing. So I was thinking to myself, like, people are killing themselves in our reality. That's way better than our reality.
Yeah.
People are killing themselves by the millions for an ice cream or a pizza, or a gift certificate that may or may not come in the mail before they're dead.
It's insane. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, not only they want to keep the level, they want more. Like you said, they want to keep that level of whatever it is that they built up. And on top of that, it's the same thing with like the COVID unemployment stuff. People who had all this money, they gladly accepted. People who make, like, I don't know, they take home, let's say, $10,000 a month after taxes, gladly accepted COVID relief funds. Like, what is wrong with you, man? They're like, oh, I make $10,000 now, I'll take an extra $1,200. Like, what is wrong with you, man?
Not long-term thinkers.
It's
Okay.
just.
But here's another thing. We talked about this a lot too. The the sacrificing the virgin to the dragon, scenario,
Mhm.
where basically people are like, Okay, well, we see not everybody's dying. There's a lot of people, but
Yeah.
not everybody. Maybe I'll be the one of the not everybody.
Yeah.
People kind of they just latch onto that. They're like, maybe if I keep quiet,
Yeah.
right, I'll just be one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many layers of mind F.
Yeah.
That was applied to this. You know, whoever constructed, whoever is a designer of this worldwide pandemic. We know some of the players. We don't know all of them.
There are
Right.
people obviously behind the scenes who face and name we will never.
And obviously, you know who I'm going to go to, the ministering angels.
Yeah.